In February, DBIA launched the Collaborative Delivery Leadership Academy in partnership with Barbara Jackson. With the continued growth of Design Build and DBIA's 30-year anniversary last year, we started to look at the future. We started to think about what comes next for Design Build, what comes next for you. How do we go from just shaping Design Build to shaping the leaders who front that growth and who make sure we're always doing Design Build right? The six-pack of courses in the Academy are intended as one of those steps, equipping Design Build team members with the unique characteristics necessary for leading Design Build projects. And that doesn't just mean owners or project managers. Any team member at any level can benefit from attending, like our guest, Rene Divelbiss, who holds a special place in the story of the Collaborative Delivery Leadership Academy and DBIA. I am Erin Looney, and this is the Design Build Delivers podcast brought to you by USCAD. Now, Rene's special place deserves congratulations. Rene, you are the first person to finish all 6 modules, so welcome to the DBIA history books, and cue the round of applause.
Well, thank you. And I'd like to say, yay, it's done. But the truth is the courses are complete, but the work is far from done. So this is changing how I listen, respond, show up every day. It is not an overnight matter or course is completed. Yay, you're done. Lots of work ahead.
Yeah, but I'd say the heavy lifting part is done.
Yes.
I just want you to celebrate.
I feel okay.
Let's celebrate.
We're celebrating. Yay.
So like I said, you've entered the annals of our history. So it's probably a good idea to get to know you better so that everyone else who comes after you in this grand achievement is going to know a little bit about who you are. So give us a quick rundown of your career path.
I started my career in the industry as a laborer for a concrete company. It was a summer job between my junior and senior year of high school. I was 17, and I loved the industry as a whole. I did work in the field after completing high school and worked my way up to the field office, and where I was on site every day and just managing things from a field engineering perspective. I did take some civil engineering classes at the local community college in the evenings. Did not finish the degree. To date, I have 26 years in the industry, from starting in the field to now a project manager for a general contractor that focuses on design build projects. I am on the cusp of figuring out where I am in my career and what's next for me. So with my experience so far, I know that I have a story, have a contribution to those coming up in the industry. I want to help and expand my knowledge of what I've learned and work on developing the next leaders in our industry.
And based on what you just said, you clearly have this extensive background, lots of success, a commitment to the industry. You truly know your stuff. Now, given that experience, that on the ground, in the projects, doing the work you do, what made you decide to take the Collaborative Delivery Leadership Academy courses, and why now?
I'm the project manager on my first design build project. Now, I've had involvement in design build projects, just not in this role. And I came into the current project with, design development drawings that were under review for permitting. I was new to this company, new to the project team. And, there were some changes within the architects team. And I was seeking out ways to contribute to the success of the project team as a whole and for any future projects. And I read the flyer for this course, or the 6 classes of this course. And what they were being offered was what I was seeking. I said, this is going to help me. This is going to help me to be a better leader on this project team. Little did I know it would be far, far greater reach than just this project team on this current job I'm working on. I've learned a lot, and that's really what got me started was, understanding that this would help me in my current role.
You mentioned before something about the next logical step, and it sounds like that's how you view this academy, that this is where you go next. This is what helps you take what you know, add in what you're learning now, and become even better at what you do. And as our first official graduate, though, you have a fresh, unbiased, unfiltered take on the academy. There's no one who can influence your perspective. So what are some key takeaways across the 6 modules?
By taking these courses, I'm just more confident in my role and my ability to work on making the team better. Taking these courses has provided me the roadmap to my next experience in the industry, to my next level. I didn't know at the time I registered that I was going to be the first one finished, by the way. That just happened to be. I saw that these courses were being offered. They applied to to me in the situation I was in, and I just signed up right away. And just turns out I happened to be the first one done.
And a hell of an ambassador.
Thank you so much. But yeah, I just feel like I've learned some of these tools that are going to help me be successful, not just on the current project, but on future projects. I wanted to better understand the design, build, done right leadership approach in comparison to what I've already experienced in the industry as a leader. Working from on these hard bid or GMP jobs, these different contracting types, you have a different mindset than what's required on design build. You have to be more open. And I knew that there was something that I needed to learn to help me with that. I needed to have go into this at this foundations class, knowing that I was going to find out what that was to get me to the next level of understanding.
Are you interested in sustainable design and construction practices but concerned about profitability? USCAD, an Archons company, helps forward-thinking ENR top-ranked AEC firms in mitigating risk and driving profit through digitalization using Autodesk AEC technology. To learn more, contact uscad.com/DBIA for a free 30-minute consultation. That's uscad.com/DBIA. And so when you looked around the room in the Foundations course, which is the prerequisite course for the other 5, when you got in there on day 1, you started to learn a little bit about the other people in there with you because that's a big part of the experience. So what did you notice? Who was in there? Were there any surprises?
No, there weren't any surprises, but there were people from all walks of the industry. So there was architects, we had engineers, we had some consultants. There was even an attorney. And when working on traditional design, bid, build projects, you have these preconceived notions on each of those trades. You don't really get to engage in a learning environment with these other people that you work with on a regular basis, but you're not really together in a learning situation. So this opened up a lot of conversation. We would have breakout sessions, and I ironically was in a group with an architect, a consultant, an engineer, and a contractor. And we all talked about the stereotypes that we had against each other. And it just opened up for us to be able to say, okay, this is no longer an us versus them environment. Design build is not, hey, this detail is wrong, you're going to pay for it. Like, that's not it. And the contractors are not after every change order anymore. It's not the dinghy on the back of the yacht, the yacht being the change order, the dinghy being that's not where we're at anymore in the industry. So there's a mindset shift. You have to change how you interact with these different partners, and they're your partners, they're your team. So that was really insightful for me, was just to break those barriers and come up to the reality of it's not us versus them.
And that is exactly what we promote at DBIA and with Design Build Done Right. It's not us versus them, it's just us. So what did you know, or let's say think you knew about yourself as a leader prior to the Foundations course?
We fill out a survey prior to the class. And when you're taking that survey, that really is when the lesson started for me. It's like, okay, I know what I want to be. I know that there's a way that I see myself, there's a way that other people see me, and there's a way I want to be. But what is the reality of the way I am? So I tried to answer as honestly as who I thought I was to get the best results. And I was so surprised that I was on this more passive, not assertive. And I feel like I'm an assertive, direct kind of, let's talk it out, hash out the issue and move on. Well, no, my reactions to situations were not what I expected. And it was eye-opening because the more I dove into what those results meant and where I needed to be, like if I react in a certain way naturally, how do I need to change that to react in a design build environment?
So you had, it doesn't sound like a total sea change, but it does sound like you became a little more self-aware, significantly more self-aware. And you can see the relationship now between the way you would respond and the way your design build team would respond to your response. So at the end of the day, at the end of the Foundations course, what thoughts did you leave with?
I really had to look at elevating my consciousness on how I listen, how I respond, and how I engage with everyone in my world, not just my direct project team, but in life. What you put out is what you get back. And you're putting out an environment of teaming and you want to come together. I just knew I had to work on myself, that this wasn't as much learning how to lead in the design build environment. It was figuring out who I am and how I react to things so that I can adjust to be a better team member in this environment.
Obviously, through the first half of this conversation, it's clear you wanted to take these courses and you were excited about it, and you saw a clear direction for using what you learned. But what reservations did you have before you started, and how were you able to alleviate those?
Well, I had taken some other leadership classes in the past, and I wanted to see really how what I previously learned about myself could be a benefit in the design build world. I knew that I'd have to change. I knew that there would be some changes required of me, and that was a little intimidating. I didn't know what to expect, and change is always scary. But I came out knowing that I can take my personality traits as they are, and I can make betterments to them. I can make little adjustments in how I listen, how I speak, and how I respond to achieve better results.
Now, is what you're saying that you don't necessarily have to change who you are or what you believe, but you do have to think in terms of the impact of your presence on a team, how your perspective affects the project? It sounds like it's more of a change what I can for the better, but don't sweat what I can't.
That is a fair assessment.
Okay.
And it's opening your eyes to the personality traits of other people on your team, which is a little bit beyond the foundations course. You're going to get into the teaming, and you learn a lot more about paying attention to everyone on your team, understanding their personalities and how they like to receive information, having a level of understanding to be able to collaborate.
The Collaborative Delivery Leadership Academy is self-paced. It can be taken in any order as long as you start with that foundation session. The courses each look, as we've noted, at something a little bit different, but there's a unifying theme, of course. That's what we've been talking about, preparing you to be a leader on a design build project, regardless of the role you hold within that team. So again, it's not just for owners, it's not just for project managers, or somebody said to me at our spring conference, just casually, oh yeah, I'm not going to take that. That's for the young folks. And that's just simply not true. You know, any specific point in your career path where you want to change or at least evaluate the way you approach your work in the grander scheme, the Academy could help. Now, looking at that whole six-pack of courses, they all do work together, as we've said, no matter the order. But how did you find that each of those courses ended up tying in with the others?
I'd like to speak to the first part is that, you mentioned that it only applied to younger generation. No, this is for all of us. 26 years in the industry, and I knew that there was something within this Leadership Academy that was going to benefit the current project and me personally moving forward. Each class focuses on a single aspect of leadership and working on the design build team, but they do all work together. And you have to take the class to see. No, I think everyone should sign up. It's not just for project managers. It's not just for architects or engineers. It's not for a specific person. Each individual on my team, each person within the company can benefit from this course. It's really looking at yourself, and it's looking at other people and finding that common ground to work together to create this environment for collaboration and communicating clearly with each other.
Which course surprised you the most?
Every course actually surprised me with more than I expected, and that's pure honesty. I went into each course, and Barbara starts the class with an impact statement, and the impact statement at the start of each class was the most challenging thing we did. And it was really, answering the question of what difference do you make? Not simply, what is your role in the project? What's your role in the company? It's not what your project you're working on. It's what impact do you have as a whole? What are you trying to achieve? I'm working on a medical treatment facility. It's recovery clinic, and I'm working on bettering the community. I'm providing resources for recovery. You're not just building a structure. You're not just checking a box to finish a job. You're providing a resource. You're bettering the community as a whole. So it's opened my eyes to what impact do I make every day? How do you show up? What are you trying to achieve? It's not just, hey, we're going to meet schedule, we're going to meet budget, and we're going to do it as a team. No, it's, what is your true impact in the industry? It was the start of every course, and she does adjust the question so you can't have a copy and paste answer for every course. So heads up to those that are taking it. If you make it through the first foundation course of what's your impact, the question will be adjusted for the other courses. So you cannot have a copy and paste answer for this.
Got to make it a challenge, right? And I actually thought, I'm a part-time professor myself, I teach communication. I was listening to that section thinking, I absolutely love this. In the session I attended in Orlando, the attendees were struggling a little bit. These are people with anywhere from a week to 30 odd years in the industry, and every one of them to almost the same level were hitting the same roadblocks while trying to create that impact statement. And Barbara was pushing, rebutting everything they said, encouraging them to go like a step further and a step further towards something quantifiable. And I 100% will be stealing that in some of my classes, because it's really an important thing to understand that we don't spend a lot of time talking about that. So when you're finished with foundations, do you take that impact statement with you to the next course and then to the next and on into your work?
You build on it. And another thing, I couldn't say, Rene, what's your impact statement today? I do not have it recited. I do not have anything memorized. And I feel like if I say it today, that Barbara would call me or email me and question it and make me take a deeper dive into it.
100% she would.
But so I will say that my general statement is that I'm the calm in the eye of the storm, that I want to be the center. And, the eye of the storm is the calmest part. So when all the chaos is happening, no matter what's going on in the people I work with live, I want to be a place where they feel safe to come and talk to me. If there's a problem in the field, I would like trade partners to be comfortable to come talk to me about it. And in all the chaos, I want to be that calm in the eye of the storm. So that's my general impact, but that can be subject to change.
And of course, as you said, it changes a little bit as the classes go on. And I don't want to give away the farm because we really want people to take this. We don't want them to go in with the answer already written out. But speaking of getting people to take this, if you had to pitch this to someone, if you had to say to somebody, I took the Collaborative Delivery Leadership Academy and it was fantastic, and here's why you should do it, how would you do that? How would you approach that conversation, and who would you encourage to complete the academy?
I would say anyone that's working or around a design build project needs to take the leadership development course. Anyone. And we are the ones that are going to be changing leadership of the past to the present leaders. One takeaway is you change the weather by how you show up every day. People that have taken these courses, we're the ones that have to spread this message to everyone. So the more people to take the courses, the more people that we're going to be on the same page on a project. Hopefully we work together and we're saying, oh, you took that course, so we're on the same page. It's a shift in how we do business. It's not the ways of the past anymore. We need to evolve. We need to change how we manage, and it starts with every individual.
Well, I think that would convince most people. So taking that and going sort of to the logical next step, the Academy is designed to elevate design build professionals, and DBIA, we elevate design build. This is to create that culture of leadership across those design build teams that fits in with what we do here. We've been talking about this as sort of a natural evolution. We set the standard for design build with our best practices. We've got clear benchmarks for what makes a successful design build project, tireless advocacy at the state, local, and national levels, a lot of other efforts, of course. So now, as you alluded to, we have design build growing so rapidly and people equipped to take on the projects, but we need to build the leaders. We need to develop the people who will keep that momentum going. And Rene, you are the first of what we hope will be a long list of confident and competent design build leaders. So welcome again to the DBIA and Design Build History books. Now you're finished with the course. What comes next?
I'm going to take the information that I've learned back to my project team, back to my company. I'm going to share in our monthly meetings. I'm going to express what I've learned, take a little bit of time here, just give parts and pieces, and recommend that they sign up and take the classes themselves, because what they get out of it is not going to be maybe everything that I got out of it, because it is really a look into yourself and how you interact and how you present yourself and how you talk and work with other people. And every individual needs to experience these 6 courses, and they need to experience what their impact is.
Sharing with everyone is one thing. Like you said, though, the experience is different for anyone who takes the course. For some, There may be a big shift in the way they approach their work. For others, possibly a reassurance or building on what they've successfully done. But regardless of how much of a change you come away with in your leadership style, the courses are applicable on the daily. So what does your work post-Collaborative Delivery Leadership Academy look like?
There are a lot of things that come to mind in the course of a normal day where I react to something, I maybe get an emotional response, and I can stop and I hone it in and I think, did Barbara say? Or there's a statement that comes to mind, or there's a piece of information that I'm like, wait a minute, you need to set that trait aside, Rene. You need to go about it this way. So it's really identifying, and I've learned myself in a way. I'm more attentive to who I am, and I acknowledge right away when I need to change. And you can always reset. You can always just pause and reset. The biggest takeaway I have is that, the ones that take in this leadership course, we're the ones that are changing the industry. The future is design build. It's time to get on board. Let's all be great leaders. On one of the slides throughout the courses is a quote that you're leading and nobody's following. You're just taking a walk. That's a pretty common one throughout. And that stays with me as well.
Rene might be the first, but she definitely won't be the last graduate of the Collaborative Delivery Leadership Academy. In fact, we will talk to some more grads in the coming weeks, so make sure you follow the Design Build Delivers podcast so you don't miss out. And to learn more about the Academy so you really don't miss out, so you can sign up and take the courses, visit the education page on our newly designed DBIA.org. Today's show was produced and edited by Fred Yee and brought to you by USCAD. Learn more at uscad.com/DBIA.